Hi everyone, welcome back to Brain Dump, a show where I talk about pretty much whatever the fuck I want to talk about. I'm your host, Kai. This episode is about letting go and forgiveness and that kind of thing. If you hear noises in the background, my dogs are in my room, and Pablo is, choking on something. We have to keep our eye on him because he's always eating stuff, and I haven't seen him eat anything, but he's hacking up a storm over there, but nothing's coming out. I just recorded 3 minutes worth of this podcast and it was just him coughing. I was like, boy, are you okay? But he seems to be okay now. Hope that's the end of the noises coming from back there. Good grief. Yeah. So before I start, I want to preface that I am not a mental health professional, like I've said. I'm here to talk about my own experience and how I deal with it and just kind of put that out into the world, you know? Something I always say is how stupid we are when we're young. It's so true. As I'm learning more about psychology and the brain and everything, I learned that your frontal lobe does not fully develop until you're 23 to 24 years old. That's only for women. I believe the average age for men is 25, so it's a little bit later. I am physically missing a piece of my brain that will be fully developed within the next few years. That is bonkers to me. But I don't know. Just something that I was thinking of when going into this episode because I feel like as I'm getting older, it's becoming easier to let go and easier to, I don't want to say forgive and forget because I really don't agree because you don't want to forget. That was an experience and you grew from it. You can't deny that you grew from that experience. Sometimes the only reason that I can't let go of something that's making me sad is at one point, that reason, whatever it may be, that person, that place, those people, was the only thing making me happy. And I saw this expression the other day, and it really stuck with me. You guys know I love my quotes. Some people in your life are going to be a sunrise. Those are the people that are going to pull you out of the darkness. Some people are seasonal. No matter how close you are with them, they could just be gone, like that. Even though some of those people will always feel like a part of my home, letting go is the only option. Moving on and finding other things that make you happy, like you, finding your own values, and things that are temporary can still be beautiful. Something that was hard to come to terms with is that you can love someone and still let go of them. In an episode a few weeks ago, I explained how I was feeling this overwhelming sense of guilt. 24 hours a day, it was all that consumed me. So recently, I've noticed that I'm feeling an overwhelming sense of peace. I can think about that, the certain instance or situation, person, people, whatever it may be, and I can think about it without getting so triggered and mad like I once did. I'm not mad, I'm not sad, I'm not guilty. I've just found peace with the situation and I'm moving on with my life. After loving someone unconditionally, it's hard to let them go. Really fucking hard. I feel like for me personally, because I love so much, that unconditional love never really ends. I will always love the people that I have fallen in love with. I'm not in love with them anymore, but I'm not the type of person that can just let go of that love altogether. A part of coming to this feeling of peace is just letting things be, letting things go, and not messing with things or people that I have to chase or beg for. It's just not worth it. For a long time, I would fight for closure. I'd go above and beyond to get the answers, and I would never get them. I've grown accustomed to making my own closure and my own peace, because it's the only way I've learned to move on from things. I feel like this peace that I'm feeling is because I've let go of everything in my life that wasn't meant for me, and I'm proud of myself for doing that. I know a few weeks ago I said that I have a hard time forgiving myself and giving myself the benefit of the doubt, but I don't know, it's just been so weird. I'm noticing all of the changes that's happening in real time because of the stuff I've done for my mental health. And it's crazy because I never thought things would change from it. Another thing to remember is you can't change anyone. I feel like this was a huge part in letting go because I wanted that control so badly for circumstances or people to be different, but I'm not in charge of that. I'm in charge of where my energy goes, and I'm going to choose to put that towards something that will be good for me in the long run. I listened to a podcast the other day, and I think it was Mel Robbins. She was talking about the let them method. If you're excluded from something because your friends didn't invite you, let them. If someone chooses to walk away, let them. It's not worth it to beg people to stay. I'm gonna let them do what they've got to do. Some people will push you to the point where you find yourself. And I wish I could thank those people. I honestly do. I had such a hard time letting go because I was afraid of what was on the other side. Okay, now that this is over, what the hell is next? And if you're missing a place or a time or a lover or a person or friends, you're not able to let them go. At least 50% of what you were experiencing is what you brought to the table. You bring things to the relationship, your personality, your humor, your ability to be resilient, your ability to step into the unknown, your openness, your charm. I don't know. When those experiences or relationships end, just remember to take your amazing parts with you. Don't leave that behind and don't just shut it down. You have to give yourself a little bit more credit. And you're capable of doing it all again. Like, when I went through a really hard breakup, I was like, no, I'm just never going to get into a relationship again because I'm just going to put myself back into that situation, and I don't want to do that. That's just setting myself up for failure. But if I never take risks, then I'm never going to meet anyone, you know? After all that is said and done, you still have your personality, your character, and your ability to make new experiences. So this was another expression that I saw, and it was mind-boggling to me because it was like, wow, I have never thought of it that way. Ever. So, you know the old expression, the best revenge is living well, right? Here's a different variation. The best revenge is reaching the point where you don't care about revenge. And I thought, wow, that's it. I feel like this overwhelming peace that I'm feeling is, I just stopped caring. And I started to do stuff for me as I started letting go the people and those places and the situations of my past. But the kind of letting go that involves a conscious choice versus a physical action or something can be so challenging, and sometimes your heart and your mind are singing two different songs, and it's just not going to line up until you are ready. Letting go in this sense is releasing all doubt and worry and fear about a situation. It's releasing anything that disrupts your happiness and things that no longer serve you. Letting go is a choice that you will no longer ruminate on things that are out of your control and focus on what you can control instead. I think of letting go as creating space for fresh beginnings, stripping you of what happened yesterday and enabling the doors of brand new opportunities to open today. Fully accepting the situation as it is without constantly wishing it would be different is really the only way to get on the road to being okay. And this isn't only about accepting situations. We have to accept people for who they are and believing them when they show us their true character, because they aren't lying. That's just them. Forgiveness is something that I've always struggled with, especially with no closure. But forgiveness doesn't mean forgetting or excusing the harm done to you. Some people are naturally more forgiving than others, but even if you do tend to hold a grudge... I was just thinking about Olivia Rodrigo's new album. It is so good. Anyway, sorry, continuing. Even if you do tend to hold a grudge, almost anyone can learn to be more forgiving. Just because our brains are so powerful, you can retrain it and rewire it to whatever way you want to. It takes a lot of work, but you can do it. Reconciliation might be impossible if the person is unwilling to communicate with you, or in some instances, it won't be appropriate. But still, forgiveness is possible even if reconciliation isn't. Recognize the value of forgiveness and how it can improve your life. The first step for me was to honestly assess and acknowledge the wrongs that I've done and how they've affected other people. I don't want to judge myself too harshly, but you've got to be honest with yourself. And if you're truly sorry for something that you've said or done and you want forgiveness, you reach out and ask for forgiveness without making excuses. Because you can still want to be forgiven even though you know you fucked up. Like, so much. You want to be better. There's nothing worse than holding on to resentment about someone for something for years. The reality is this is only hurting you. The most important thing we have to learn is to forgive ourselves, which, like I've said, is a little difficult for me. I feel like lately, with this feeling of peace, as I said, I'm able to forgive. Someone said to me when I was in a really dark place that you are right where you're supposed to be. In the midst of an awful depressive episode, my initial reaction was just frustration and confusion. Why would that's not what I want to hear. I didn't want to accept that the fact that this person was probably right, because life is full of so many teachers and lessons, and sometimes you will be a teacher and other times you will be forced to learn a hard lesson. Forgiveness is not easy. It's not like following the exact route on a GPS. We can't rush or force it, but we can be willing to welcome its healing effects over time. After a really hard breakup or anything that upsets me, I have a lot of sadness and rage and bitterness, but because I let myself move through those emotions in healthy ways, I was able to release a lot of that energy, and that resulted in a lot of healing. After that, I decided that I was ready to forgive. I had to make a conscious choice to forgive them internally. Every time that I was triggered or reminded of something painful, at first it was really impossible. But I reminded myself that this is the only way I can love myself where I'm at. And some people see forgiveness as this broad thing, but forgiveness is not about condoning or excusing or just minimizing someone's behavior. It's not about forgetting what happened or giving someone more chances. When we resist forgiveness and we just harbor that resentment, the only person that we hurt is ourselves. In some cases, forgiveness can be an act of self-love, you know? Like, you are giving your body and your mind that ability to move on and to choose peace. And it happens without you even realizing it sometimes. I feel like those feelings of anger and sadness slowly melted away as I started to see a side of myself, someone who has struggled and suffered and also made mistakes. And I couldn't help but feel compassion for these people and myself and everyone who's felt pain. What the fuck? I'm so sorry, guys. Olivia Rodrigo. Holy shit, that scared the fuck out of me. Olivia Rodrigo just started singing Get Him Back on my mom's Alexa. That was really weird. I feel like compassion is the cure, the antidote, however you want to put it, to the judgment that kind of poisons our mind and creates more suffering. It's a great gift to ourselves and other people, just compassion in general. Forgiveness isn't easy, I said that, but neither is carrying the pain in the long run. See forgiveness as a non-negotiable act of healing, you have to do this in order to move on and get on with your life. Don't sit in bed thinking about it all day long because it's not serving you anymore. It's not worth all of that energy that you're putting into something that doesn't even exist anymore. Sometimes we cling to our desires and we fight for them because we think we'll be happy if we get what we want. But, when we let go and accept what is and what we have, what shows up for us is often the things that we need. And people and situations come up in your life when you least expect it. These things tend to be the ones that really count, creating true happiness and meaning in our lives. Looking back, the most challenging part for me is my clinging to questions of what happened. What did I do wrong? Why? What happened, life is too short to not let go of things that don't serve you anymore. I'm trying to be happy for me, and it's hard to do that when you're consumed and always focused on something else in your past, because you're never really living in the moment. And I don't want to let go of that aspect of my life, of living in the moment and being able to be present without still feeling the pain. I'm at a point where I can say I don't feel the pain anymore. I can think about it without feeling that shame and guilt and sadness, and I can look back on it and say, wow, that was a really great experience. And those people made me really happy and feel really loved, but it's over. And that is okay. It's okay. That's just crazy, because I never thought I would say, that's okay. It's fine. It's fine. Okay, now it's starting to sound, sarcastic, but it is okay to not have those people anymore. I had to cling to so many relationships, always feeling like I'm losing the grip, but, when I finally escaped that grasp and let it go, it became so much easier to just move on. For me, personally, I found the transition from high school into adulting a really awful time for me. I was struggling to find a purpose. When I woke up in the morning, all I wanted to do was be in high school again, because that's all I knew, Letting that go has kind of made me love my college experience that much more, because I've let that go. My high school days are over. And I really did have a hard time that transition period from high school into, just adulting in the real world. And I did take a gap year, which I think did contribute to my sense of no direction. But I feel like I am on a path now where I have a little bit of direction, which is kind of relieving because I haven't had that in a while. I think the thing that really pushed me to do it is I knew that I was delaying my own happiness by not letting go. I always knew in the back of my mind that letting it go would allow me to heal. When I was delaying that happiness, I would sulk in my emotions, and I definitely felt what I needed to feel, but eventually I just got over it. And I didn't think that after just going through the emotions and feeling everything that it would just be done. And, obviously it's not that simple, but I feel like I was telling myself I can't. I thought that I was going to feel that way forever, but once I told myself that I wasn't going to continue to do this to myself, I all started coming together in a way. Part of that came with knowing what the problem was. Like, what happened to make me upset? Did I have any responsibility in the downfall? Like, that's why I want to see these things as learning experiences, because I want to be able to get better as a person and just, I don't know, be kinder to people, because I've known in the past that I can be unkind, and I'm trying to be better. Another part of letting go was detaching myself from certain environments and places that would remind me, I don't know, just of good memories with people that aren't in my life anymore. I knew that being there at whatever place that might be, it wasn't benefiting me at all. For a while, I totally disconnected from these places, but I feel like now I'm able to go with more ease. What I said earlier, I'm done. It really doesn't affect me anymore. Honestly, let yourself grieve. Some relationships shape part of your identity, and there can be such incredible people that you care about so much that walk out. That's fucking sad. That sucks. So yes, of course I cried, and I was angry, and I was so confused, and most of all, so guilty. Feeling all of that and getting it out, I think really helped me to start let things go. We're all humans, and we go through such strange emotions and different reactions to things, so whatever you are feeling is normal. While I was doing research for this episode, I found an article on Orion philosophy, and there's a quote from the site that says, "If you are distressed by anything external, the pain is not due to the thing itself, but to your estimate of it. And this you have the power to revoke at any moment. You are the only one that has the power to loosen that grip, and you gotta do it in your own time. Everybody's timing is different, and if you're not ready, then don't. It's okay to not be ready. You have to go through that grieving process." That site also talks about acceptance and how that is a crucial part of healing, but our minds automatically resist that because it's being clouded by those initial emotions, which is why it takes a little bit longer to accept. A way of meditating that I saw on a psychology site was you take a deep breath and think about all those things that you have bottled in, things that don't serve you anymore. You hold it, and then you let it all out when you exhale. Sometimes just picturing that as you're doing a physical action will really help me. Yeah. Wow. Anyway, that was a lot. I have such strong opinions about it because of all the stuff that I've been realizing, like the feeling of peace. It's just, I'm letting it go. It's done. I'm done. I'm moving on and living my life. Anyway, I don't know what I'm gonna do today. It's Saturday, but I don't have to upload this till tomorrow, so I could wait to edit this. But I went on a bike ride this morning. What else did I do? I cleaned the entire house because sometimes I just wake up with an urge to clean, and when I clean, I have to do everything. Wipe down the windows and sweep, mop, wipe down the counters, everything. I can't miss something. So I did that. That was before my bike ride. And then after my bike ride, I went to Hot Works, and then I took a shower at Hot Works. And now I'm here. It is only noon, and I've done so much. But I may go to Target. I don't have money, so maybe I won't. I'm just gonna stay here. No, I'm not. I'm gonna find something to do. Maybe I'll do school on a Saturday. Okay. I will talk to you guys next week. Remember that you are loved, you are valued, and you are appreciated. And let go. Let it go. If you're ready. If you're not ready to let it go, don't let it go. You can be angry. You can be bitter, sad. Feel those feelings. But when you're ready, let it go. All right. Bye.